Hello everyone. So I just did a video about how to change an electrical outlet socket. And I did that because whenever I was looking to do this, I found all these videos and articles that had all this fluff nonsense to them. It just didn't get to the point. I had to watch maybe a dozen videos or slash articles to read before I was finally able to kind of figure it out to do it for myself. And it's like it's ridiculous. You should be able to make that video well in under 10 minutes. And that was just something that I didn't do it scripted or anything. It was just what I learned, just kind of right there. If I'd spent a little bit of time maybe scripting it, just as maybe just having a brief outline, that might have helped condensed it a little bit more. And that's what I want. That's one of the things that I want. Up-to-date, accurate information without the fluff, without all the nonsense, so that you can make the best decision possible for whatever your situation may be. Maybe the answer for you is you do want to go ahead and do this kind of work for yourself. Or maybe you want to hire it out to someone else. I didn't get it quite all on my own. I did have an electrician come on out because it wasn't a standard thing. There was a special little thing that kind of went on that I needed an electrician while he was here. I asked him about this, and it's like I don't understand why this should be difficult or hard. And so one of the things that I'm doing is that shortly I'll be starting in on making some furniture with a little bit of my time each day. And I know that I'm going to be able to sell it for a lot of money and do really well with it because it's something that's very specific. And nobody else is doing it. What it is, it's just a gaming table. And those things can sell upward to $20,000. And they're all the same. They're made out of wood. They've got a few features to them. They're not that special. There's also dining tables and desks and entry tables that sell for $10,000 to $15,000 whenever they're made out of a bit of epoxy and with wood that has a live edge to it. So in other words, they don't cut it into a long rectangular strip. They leave the outer edge that has the bark, they leave it there. But because the internet is here, I have learned how to do 3D printing, use epoxy, do woodworking, weld and do metal work, epoxy coating, all of these things, which is going to allow me to build something extraordinarily unique and to do electrical. There's going to be switches and lights, and might add a Raspberry Pi and touch screens, and there will be speakers to it, and just all of this stuff. And I know how to do all this stuff. I'm needing something very specific for my personal life, and it's like, well, if I can monetize it and make money off of it and sell it to others, it's like, that's fine. There are companies out there that just by making them out of wood, that they're able to have an entire company. Several companies do this. And there are also people that do this individually. Hold on. And I just think and wonder, you know what, if I'm able to do this, what about everyone else? Because just with these gaming tables alone, I mean, it's all of these. It's not like you have to sell really expensive ones. These companies, for example, they make plenty of them that's just a few $100. And some of these individuals can make them for much cheaper than that, for under $100. It's because it's not like everyone can afford one that's going to be like $15,000 to $20,000. That doesn't mean that they don't want one and that they still wouldn't spend, several hundred or several $1,000s. There's all of this. And imagine if this is how it was for everything. How many jobs could there be for people if you had access to to information to do whatever you could creatively do. Because whenever I do this, it's like no one else is doing this. I will have a niche in the market. So what about you with your creativity? Because I've talked about this before. There are games like Minecraft where, man, just these young kids can make these hugely elaborate things. Part of that ability to do that is that they're not being held back with any limits. It's just, do you have the game? All right, well then go at it. So what if that was real life, that you could do all of this? How many amazing choices could you have, both in what you could purchase and with what you could create and do for yourself? I am not interested in having these really huge mega corporations like Walmart and Target dominating it like this. I would love to see small businesses, instead of having a bunch of little employees, I would love to see a bunch of business owners. And it seems like repeated throughout history, whenever they do that, the economy booms, people's standards of living booms. So back to the gaming table, it's like there are some people who are serious gamers who have the money and they'll buy that up like mad. But there are other gamers where, you know what, they're really casual about it. But they do it enough where it's like, yeah, I could do with a smaller one, maybe one that's in the living room, kind of acts as a coffee table and a gaming table. The more serious ones, it's like those. I saw one that was $20,000, and it looked like a piece of art, exquisite, just beautiful. I don't know if I could match something like that. If I did, I would really have to up the tools that I have, because being able to do those fine cuts and those really smooth, perfect finishes, that just, I tell you what, it just takes a whole different level of tools. And so it just depends. But it's like that with everything. That there's not a one size fits all. Look at clothes. That's a great example. How many different kinds of shirts are there? It's like, well, it could be that with really kind of everything, because it's just limited by your imagination. Just with the tables alone, how many different kind of designs could you put on it and just make it into something special and unique? I just think it's crazy. Anyways, I really enjoy going over these articles and just showing just how they're just lying pieces of garbage. So we have another one here. This one is, and I'll have a link in the description below for this one. CY Fair ISD school board member blames black teachers for HISD student dropout rates. And I've read a little bit of it, and it's like, nope, that is not what this guy said at all. And this is from MSN.com. Student board member Scott Henry of Cypress Fairbanks ISD is under fire for comments made during a meeting earlier this week. It's like, that's only because people are trolling. Henry, a first-year member of his director's board of trustees, is facing public calls for his resignation from Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo, among many others, following comments made during a work session in which he seamlessly linked a higher number of black teachers with increased dropout rates in other districts. It's like, this judge should be fired. That judge should be impeached, removed, whatever, because it's like, did you not listen to the man at all? The incident occurred Monday when board members convened for a presentation by consulting group Millennium Learning Concepts, MLC, which the district commissioned to conduct an analysis of the promotion of diversity and equity in its schools. So in other words, this company, MLC, they were hired to look at diversity and equity. It's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? Whenever my mom was dying from cancer, and I've told this story before, I did not give a damn who had the answer for the cure. Black, white, young, old, short, fat, thin, whatever. I did not care at all. I wanted the best. It's like, how does this get the best? If it does, then by all means explain it to me, because if it's true, then you should be able to explain it. The results of the study that this company did, which included suggestions for how this school district can improve services for an increasingly diverse student body and staff, were presented by the director, Annika Myers. In a Q&A session that followed the presentation, Henry, a sales engineering manager at the data insight company Splunk, so he manages sales and numbers and data, called the audit a pile of rubbish and questioned the integrity of MLC's findings. Because this is what the guy does. He works with data all the time, and he's looking for the best data to use to help increase sales. And so he needs accurate, up-to-date information about their target market, their demographics, consumer reports, to be able to improve sales. This is what he does. It's a little different. We're not quite talking about sales, but he looks at data, and it's pretty close. It would be kind of like, well, this person's not a doctor, but this person's a nurse. So he says, I'm a big data guy. I know data, says Henry. Data can be skewed in any way you want to, and we know this because we see it whenever we go over these news articles about how they just manipulate this into all kinds of trash. A good one to watch is one of my previous videos about the wage gap and how they lie about that nonsense. It looks like the way this company skewed the data, it makes it look like they are cherry picking this data very poorly. Oh, no kidding. Cherry picking data. Never heard of that before. It's like it's just about what every single politician does. Henry questioned the need for increasing the number of black teachers employed by the district and seemingly attempt to link black educators at Houston ISD with high dropout rates in the district. So what this sounds like is he's saying is that being black doesn't seem to be a factor. That just being black is not going to make anything better or worse. And then maybe he kind of said something along the lines that at these examples that they had higher black teachers and the dropout rates were higher. So you can't say that there's a correlation with more black teachers means something that's better. It's like, no, that's right. It's not. It's based off of an individual basis. It's like, I'm sure there are plenty of good black teachers and bad ones, just like there are plenty of bad white teachers and good ones, and Asian and Hispanic and the whole 9 yards. It's not just, oh, well, you're this certain color, so you're just automatically great. It's like, yeah, if you're just dumb as dirt, then you'll buy that. But if you have one working brain cell, there's no way, because you know what? We've met people. Do you live in a cave? We've all met people who are just bad and horrible, and they're men and women, young, old, black, white, short, tall, fat, thin, you name it. They're all good and bad, depending on the actions that they choose to take. And some of them work really hard, and others don't. Video of Henry's remarks went viral Wednesday, sparking allegations of racism and calls for his resignation. It's like, no. This company sounds like they're racist, and everyone who was involved in this. And it's because they led with this. Where is it? They led with it. So starting right here, which the district commissioned to conduct an analysis of the promotion of diversity and equity in its schools. They are specifically saying that we are going to judge you based off of you are black or white or a man or a woman or whatever. These are all factors you have no control over. You cannot change your X or Y chromosomes. You cannot change the color of your skin. That is literally bigotry. This everyone who's involved with this commission, who put this forward and put this together, they should all be fired. They should all have to pay fines, including this MLC group. This is a racist, biased organization. It's like what they should have been looking at, well, is this equal to everyone to apply? Is it the same standards across the board for everyone? Do we have the same level of measurement? That we're not making it harder for some groups or easier for others, but it's consistent. It could be things such as the people who are evaluating who's going to be hired or promoted, that you cannot have in their paperwork their names, their race, or their gender. That it should be something such as, here are all the students with their grades, and their grades are, on average, A, B, C, D, or they're just Fs and they're failing. It's like, oh, okay, well, you know what? This teacher that we really don't know anything about, because what we're looking at is we're looking at the students' performance, their grades. How well are the students doing? Oh, the students are doing great. And then afterwards, after the committee or whoever reviews it, they have no idea. Then someone else says, oh, well, this teacher is a black woman. She's just rocking it out of the park. Or if it's a straight white male, he's knocking it out of the park. It's like, great, that's who we want. That's not what they did. So yeah, just trash all the way through. I'm not going to read through the rest of it because yesterday's was pretty long, and you get the hint. I want to keep these videos a little bit shorter, so just some food for thought as always. You learn something if you appreciate this kind of work where you're going to be told the truth, at least to the best of my ability. Give the video a thumb up, and if you want more, subscribe to help me out. I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.